I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talents in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones. And too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they gotta open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughters started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others, the way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself.
Tony Wafer, Los Angeles chapter, National Action Network. He just came in here to New York a couple days ago, had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice, so I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
XL Friday. And now, America's #1 civil rights leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Happy Friday, Rev.
Same to you.
All right, you're live.
It's Friday, December 19th. Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time. And for these next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. Good morning to our West Coast listeners, and welcome to those listening on Sirius XM. Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. For the next 3 hours, you can join the conversation by calling us at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. It is Exhale Friday, and a lot is happening, and we do not want you to go into the weekend without you letting the nation know and letting even parts of the world know that listen to this show, your thoughts, your analysis, your commentaries. You don't have to agree with me, but express yourself and let us go into this weekend really paying attention and making people pay attention to what we have to say. So let it out, let it out, let it out. Exhale Friday. One of the things I'm watching very closely is the Republicans have blown past the Obama deadline, but don't slam the deal on doing a deal. The Republicans in Congress are jumping off the Obamacare cliff as they leave Washington without a deal to extend the enhanced subsidies for about 22 million Americans. But the door to a bipartisan deal hasn't been completely shut, we're being told. It may not be too late to reverse the increase if a deal is passed by early next year, according to state health care officials. That is a wish. But the way the Republicans are acting, it looks like we're going to have to really go to the mat on this. So we've got the deadline is there. Before it's cut off by the states, there's this outside hope of some bipartisan deal that is shaky at best. And we're talking about 22 million Americans while this president is trying to build a $300 million ballroom that looks like he's having problems even building that with the money. Also, today is the deadline to release by midnight all of the Epstein files. And we already clearly see that Donald Trump was much closer and much more friendly with Epstein than he has allowed us to believe. And we are seeing with the little they're putting out every day that more and more people, even had a reporter from New York Times now caught up in the pictures. This is crazy. This is beyond the pale. I can't say it any other way. And we'll see all of it supposedly by tonight. There's been the arrest of the suspect. Well, not the arrest. He's been found dead as the suspect in the shootings at Brown University. And another professor's found dead, and many feel that he killed him as well. And as an aside, there's a lot of people talking about the plaques under the pictures, portraits of former presidents that Trump has put up down the walk as you walk in the colonnade between the residence of the presidents and the Oval Office. And he has mocked some. I mean, he's had an auto pen in place of a picture for Joe Biden. And the plaque under his picture reads, Biden took office as a result of the most corrupt election ever seen in U.S. history. This is what he's got hanging in the White House. And then the one under former President Barack Obama's plaque blasts the president, 44th president, as one of the most divisive political figures in American history. So he's on taxpayers' money, on taxpayers' facilities, because the White House belongs to the people, putting up photos of each of the presidents and castigating them at our expense. Let's talk about all that. Let me say, on the message board, I'm looking at Marty, Marteskism. I hope I'm saying it right. I say, good afternoon, Reverend Sharpton. I'm calling from Greater Memphis. Oh, wow. Memphis, Tennessee, which includes Memphis, Mississippi, and Arkansas. The Republicans are acting like Scrooge. We only need 9 Republican senators. You're right, just 9. And we would renew the Affordable Care Act. Just 9. And some of them are not running again. I mean, I just don't understand how insensitive you can be. Tanya Stovall saying Trump already said, which we knew he had no intentions of funding ACA. Yeah, I'm not looking for Trump to do anything, but I did think, I agree with the text before you, Tanya, that you could find 9 Republicans that care about their own constituents. It's going to hurt a lot of working class and poor whites as well as blacks. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous. But getting back to, Destined Forever is right, saying on the message board, when I was talking about Trump putting these plaques under auto pen of Biden won't even put his picture up, under the picture of Obama, one of the most divisive people in American history. There's something not well about a man. And I'm serious. I'm not just playing politics now. Something not well about a man born into some relative wealth. Father was a millionaire. Never was as rich as they said, but certainly comfortable. And against all odds, him having filed bankruptcy 5 times, him being convicted of 34 felonies, him being found guilty of sexual harassment by a court, by a jury, he becomes president and then reelected president. And you think that he would be so grateful and thankful that given his background, he went where he clearly no one would think he could go. That he would be doing more than sitting around taking cheap shots at people and hate on his predecessors. Something is wrong. He's approaching 80 years old.
His energy is gone. He's falling asleep every day in events. He was tweeting crazy stuff out on the internet. Like week before last when he put out the picture of him and Jesse Jackson, James Brown, and I at an event. It was my event. It was National Action Network Keepers of the Dream Dinner 2006. So he's going to call me a bunch of names and put out a picture of how he used to come to my events to support us when he was acting like a Democrat. So sure, the man ain't all thinking right. Out of all the pictures he could have put out, he puts out a picture of him at our event. So for all of you MAGA people that listen to my show and send silly things on the message board, explain why Donald Trump used to act like he supported us. Obviously, he was lying then. So then you got to ask yourself, is he lying to y'all now? Let's take a break. Be right back. It's Exhale Friday. Let it out, let it out, let it out. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
I have a dream today.
They can't kill the dreamer. Reduced a lot of our ministry to entertainment. Or who can hoop the loudest, who can run around the pulpit more, or who got the dresses fancy, and don't deal with the ministry. Jesus healed more people than he preached to. Because there is in the healing your message. They followed Jesus because he healed a woman with the issue of blood. They followed Jesus because Jesus saw a blind man named Bartimaeus. A lot of us would have dismissed him because he was a broke, poor, homeless, a blind man. How you know he was broke, Reverend? Because they say he was begging. But he understood what he was doing because he heard that Jesus was passing by. And when Jesus got close enough, he said, Jesus, son of David, come see about me. They kept telling Jesus, let's go, look, we got a schedule, we got people to see. He said it again, Jesus, son of David, come see about me. And when he did it the third time, Jesus stopped and went and healed the blind man. Now, what I get out of that scripture, Bishop Daughtry, is that the blind man told Jesus, If you are who you say you are, you're going to stop and see me. Yes, sir. And if you stop and see me, you will confirm who you are. Yeah. But when we are pastoring and leading in communities with bad health, we cannot be the followers and representatives of Jesus and walk by people that are sick and we not be part of making them well. No justice! No justice! No justice! What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom, let my people go, go. We never shine, never shade. Give me up, Papa, God, rain, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water, children.
Do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited to turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you, and if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are, and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
when Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, you're live,
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Keeping it back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. And let me remind you to make sure you tune in this Saturday and Sunday to Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. You are not going to want to miss it. We're going to really deal with this, how we mitigate the Affordable Care Act. I'm going to have Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, a dynamic woman that you just need to hear from her, and how we deal with all this. I'm going to have candidate Tom Steyer, who ran for president, is running for governor of California. He's coming on. I'm going to have the report from the Conference of National Black Churches. I'm going to have on the Foreign Affairs Committee member, Black Congressman from Rhode Island, Congressman Gabe Amo. I'm going to have the woman that is the first Democrat-elected mayor of Miami in 30 years, Mayor-elect Eileen Higgins will be on. I'm having her on. She's doing her interview with us. And, of course, I'm going to have the state representative, Jermaine Johnson, who's running for governor of South Carolina. That's just a few. It's going to be a very full weekend of guests, and I want you to be a part of it. So make sure you tune into Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC, on MS Now, and used to be MSNBC. They got a new commercial out with all of us on there. How many of y'all seen the commercial? Let me know that you watched the commercial that they show all of us in parts of history, because that's what we're dealing with, parts of history. And history is going to record what we did when they took away Affordable Care Act that will affect people. I mean, Destined Forever says it right. Millions of people will suffer because of one man's childishness. Millions. It's amazing. Also, you that are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally in the morning. I will be there 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the House of Justice in Harlem, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue in the village of Harlem. And 9 a.m. to 11, I'm giving my Christmas/Kwanzaa address tomorrow. I'll give it in advance because I give my advice to you on how we ought to celebrate them, both Christmas, those that celebrate that, both Hanukkah, but Christmas and Kwanzaa is going to be my message tomorrow. And I respect everybody's holiday, but I want to dig deep into that. Given these times, what should Christmas be like under this Trump 2.0? What should Kwanzaa be like? I'm going to deal with it in the morning. Be there at the Saturday Action Rally, live at 5, live at 9. I'm back to politics now. Live at 9 to 11 on at the House of Justice. Now you can watch it on nationalactionnetwork.net, nationalactionnetwork.net, and you can now also watch it live on Impact Television. I am absolutely. I had a Zoom call with some leaders of Somalia and Sudan and Southern Sudan, and I think that it was really breaking to me to hear them talk about the devastation, the killing of children that's going on, the starvation that's going on in Sudan and going on in Somalia. And in the middle of it, not only is the United States not doing all it can to be castigated, lambasted, distorted by Donald Trump, and what hurt them the most is that no Black American leadership has stood up for them. Nobody's pushed back. And one of the reasons my call was set up is because they saw on my television show I kept pushing back. And they wanted to thank me and challenge me. We may bring a delegation to go over there. How can we celebrate Kwanzaa, talking about our African roots, and you got all of this going on in Africa and nobody's saying anything? I'm talking about Black American leadership got laryngitis while this man just absolutely disregards, and disparages our homeland. And we have nothing to say. And I think that it is absolutely necessary. And I'm prepared. I told them I'm prepared to do whatever we need to do to go over there and to go to the UN right here. Daniel Collins is saying the White House is spreading misinformation about anti-Semitism, and I'm trying to complete a 3-day course to become certified as an aide in humanitarian assistance and help. They give the kids a lot of money to do the same thing as me, so I'm not really surprised. All right, Daniel. Thank you for your post. And I think that the question that we've got to ask ourselves at this point in history is, what will history record you saying, you doing, you being active in? You know, I met my grandparents maybe a couple of times on my mother's side. My grandfather died the year I was born, so I didn't meet him, but I met my grandmother several times in Alabama. And in Florida, I met my grandparents there maybe once or twice. And I really, even I was a kid, wanted to know, what did y'all do right after slavery? Your parents were slaves. Well, one day your kids and grandkids are going to ask you why Trump was taking back voting rights, why Trump was taking back districts that had been carved out along the guidelines of the Voting Rights Act, while Trump was canceling, letting the date expire to extend health care to 23 million Americans that needed it. What did you do, Grandma? What did you do, Granddad? I mean, I know you aren't Martin Luther King, but did you go to a rally? Did you support some media that was talking the truth? What did you do? And I tell people all the time, you come to our rallies, come to our marches, the misnomer is I'm going out there and support Reverend Sharpton. No, you go out there supporting yourself, because it tells the world who you are and where you stand. I'm just trying to facilitate you doing something that all of us need to do. Because let me tell you something. History's going to record what you did and what you didn't do. And it's going to record what I did and what I didn't do. Because you can change your outfit, but you can't change facts. They're going to say, these are the facts in 2025, and these are the responses to the facts. And you will be in the column of having done little or nothing but run your mouth. Yelling back at the television is not legitimate protest. I can tell you as one that hosts TV shows, we do not hear you. You need to be involved in something. We'll hear that. And you'll make a difference. So, all right, on that spirit, let's exhale. I'm going to open up the phones, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
Tony Wafer, Los Angeles chapter, NASDAQ Network. He just came in to New York a couple days ago, had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice, so I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
Rev, you know, you were right there
From the beginning.
with the stuff that
Yep.
was going on in Brooklyn at that time, at Howard Beach. You were right there.
He had, in one of the early movies, he had my name. Then he put me in Malcolm, and I wasn't even old enough to know Malcolm. So we've been through it all.
For those who see Malcolm X, it's 3 hours. But fast forward to the scene yourself,
Yep.
Bobby Seale.
Right. Bobby Seale, Denzel, and me.
Yeah.
Denzel was on the set.
Now, let me ask a question.
Yep.
What was your weight on that scene?
I probably about 270. I was bigger then.
Yeah.
Still had the hair, man.
Yeah, you had the head on.
Yeah, it was
Denzel, yourself, and Bobby Seale.
Yeah, all in one scene.
And also, there was no cut. We went like this.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Only Spike could have done that.
It's my brother right here.
My baby.
Brooklyn's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Brooklyn's in the house.
BK. Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there. And act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're going to have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm going to keep marching. I'm going to keep agitating. And I'm going to keep going. Until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time. Mariah,
christen your kids. And I promise you this, the only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again. And I think that is extremely important about the funding. But I also want to add how they're changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes black. We want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight with the courts and the streets, because they're literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunities, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, which they did, started at Harvard with a black woman president. Started with them saying you can't teach diversity in an Ivy League school like Harvard. It didn't start in Little Rock at the high school. This fight, this time, was Harvard. And they went from there on. And I think that we've got to have the same resistance. If they could fight in the 50s, the ACP would put them together and deal with the question from Little Rock in terms of desegregation. Then we that are far more educated, far more economically secure personally, have no excuse in the age of what they did in Harvard not to be standing up back in the South. Keep the dream alive on Wall Street.
Keep it real. You live, Rev? Real.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. It's Exhale Friday. Whatever's on your mind, whatever's in your heart, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Let's go to the phone. Let's hear from my dear friend in Chicago, the beloved Miss Eunice. Miss Eunice, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing well also. My continued prayers go out to Reverend Jackson and family. You know, Reverend, I was thinking, what kind of a being, B-E-I-N-G, is Trump? Because he certainly doesn't act like a human being. And he's sick as they come. Now, he's taking names off of buildings, as such as the Kennedy Center. How can they do that without approval? And he can't take care of affordable care, but they can give permanent tax breaks to the rich. It's a shame others have to obey the law, excuse me, while the Trump administration run their criminal activities. No other administration has gotten away with all the things that this one has, while the elected officials sit idly by and do nothing. What happened to checks and balance? We've got to really fight, and there's no time for stopping us now. And I enjoyed last night the former First Lady, Michelle Obama. She was a delight to hear on the show that hosted by Jonathan Capehart.
Yeah, I saw some of it. She was very good.
Yeah, and he's a great interviewer. And if in case you miss it, it'll be on again on Saturday night.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. So you have a great weekend, and let's all continue to work, and let's vow that we're going to do better in the coming year, because they're going after us in every way they can. And one final thing, I just can't figure out how this guy Trump was raised. I mean, it just everything he goes against it unless it's good for him. And thank you, Reverend, for taking my call, and hello to the family for me.
All right, thank you, and have a great weekend. Hope to talk to you Monday. Let me go to Don in New Orleans, Louisiana. Don? Is Don there?
If you can convince, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Yes, sir. If you can convince the lowest white man that he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pockets. Well, I changed that W from an H. Well, if you can give him someone to look down on, he'll even empty his pockets for you. That's a profound saying from former President Lyndon Baines Johnson.
Yep.
On the conditioning that racism reaps.
No, and he's quoting for you that don't know, President Lyndon Baines Johnson said that. And he was a Southern white man and was saying how racism works. If you convince the lowest white man, broke, no money, no home, whatever, but that he's still better off than the best black man, then you can pick his pockets. And that's what they're doing. These tariffs are killing white farmers. The inflation is choking out people in red states. But Trump's thing is you're still better than them. At least you ain't them. And y'all know the word I'm not using. That's what got him elected. And that's what's rolling now, which is why we need to roll together and have some of these white allies, as we saw with the No Kings March, and some came with us on the Wall Street March, because some of them realizing that he's playing them while he's claiming to be standing up to us. He's playing them. Go ahead, Don.
Yes, sir, and that surmises it very efficiently, Reverend Al. But I want to address the issue of organizations such as they call themselves the original Illinois Club, and it was founded by the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, the Pullman porters who organized themselves during the late 1800s, 1897, I believe. And today they have an offshoot, well, it's been around 100 years, the Young Men's Illinois Club. And this organization, many people say it's pomp and circumstance, but it was to prepare young ladies and to enter society, not as giggly, naive children into adulthood, but as sophisticated in the sense of knowledge and their power and their impact on society, such as a Michelle Obama, to society in a very profound way, not gossipy, not in a way that they're slanderous and fall for all those old rabbit holes. But these young ladies were matured in a way that they were like fine wine as they progress through life. So those are things we should be focusing on. And unfortunately, sometimes the LBJ saying applies to other people who are not white, Reverend Al. You know, you have other people from other cultures say that the black people who've been here for a few hundred years are lazy and all that negativity, they fall for that okado, or they'll tell other people tell them to stay away from black people in the United States. So we have a multi-front approach.
Well, I tell you something else,
those
Don. It's
stereotypes.
not only those non-Southern whites that you refer to that they're told when they come in the country, stay away from blacks and we're inferior. You don't want to be one of them. Unfortunately, you got some blacks that feel that way. Some middle-class,
Absolutely.
successful blacks feel that everything in their power is determined if they can stay away from their own community. I mean, it's sick, but it's existing. So it's not only whites. You got to deal with a lot of blacks that's over there in that self-hating
That's right.
kind of thinking.
Yes, sir. Dr. Carter G. Woodson, the miseducation of the Negro.
That's
yes,
right.
sir.
That's
Thank you,
right.
Reverend
All
Al.
right,
Have
thank
a
you.
happy holiday season.
Same to you, sir. Gilda in Alabama. Gilda, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year to the listening audience and your family.
Thank you.
Reverend Sharpton, we got to be talking about Trump, but Trump doesn't even know he's in the world. We got to deal with this evil, diabolical Stephen Miller. That man is a monster. Now, I want to ask you a question. I want to make a statement. The question is, the other night when I listened to Trump's speech, he said that inflation is 3%. It was 3% when Biden was there, and it's 3% now. Now, none of the news outlets dealt with that. So if it's 3% now, why are we hollering about inflation?
Right.
So why didn't the media say something about that? So somebody behind the scene is giving him these numbers, and the media is not calling it out. Because I noticed nobody talked about it. But how is that? Can that be? That it's still 3%?
No, it can't be, and it's not.
It can't be.
The math don't math. Don't worry. Watch Politics
right.
Nation this weekend. I'm going to say something, because one of the things we're going to do is break down the fallacy of some of the things he said in that speech. And I am agreeing with you that a lot of the media gave him a pass. They act like what he said, just outright lies, was normal. I mean, just outright lies. This wasn't even borderline lies, just outright lies.
And look, my statement today, my exhale is, I'm still learning about the South since I got down here. And I noticed that the people in the South, basically now, they just complain. They don't do anything. They just complain. Now, I'm living in a district in Fairfield, Alabama, where a woman waltzed in here, registered to vote in the area. She does not live in Fairfield, has never lived in Fairfield, has never voted in my district, and became my district council person.
Wow.
I have been fighting it ever since it happened. They never expected me to carry it to court. I did. The judge saw her high-powered lawyer come in there, and he bent over and ruled in their favor, knowing he was lying because it wasn't true, because he said, I hear some things that's not the truth. And then my attorney, I didn't really know him. I got him on the word of someone else. And he said he saw the judge bend, so he bent too. So what I'm saying is, you can't get, when we talk about progressive leadership and transactional leadership, as you talk about, if you can't get lawyers, preachers, teachers, and all of these people to play their role and stand for truth, how then do we get out of this? I narrowed it down to what happened. They never thought that anyone would investigate it. This problem is coming from the county registrar. The county registrar is in cahoots with these, whoever they are. But what they're trying to do in these municipalities down here, the small ones, they're getting ready to annex these cities when they get a white mayor in Birmingham. It's a hot mess. They've taken over the water in Birmingham. They are taking over everything, and our people are still sitting here calling me crazy because I'm fighting. When you say keep on fighting, but you don't get the people to stand up with you. But coming out of Illinois, I cannot sit down and let this happen when I see it. The thing is getting a lawyer to get back into court, and that's like trying to find a pot of gold.
Yeah, that's true. But we got to press on.
Fight it. I'm going to continue, but listen, what they have now, they have you when you qualify. They don't allow the municipalities to question the candidates, and the state does not lay down what residency is.
Wait a minute. They don't allow the states to question the candidates.
They don't allow the municipalities.
Oh, you mean municipality?
Okay. Not
Okay.
allow it, and the state doesn't have anything concrete as to what residency is. So they have made it cumbersome, but no wrong is going to stand if you fight it. I'm just putting you on notice what I'm doing, and I may have to call you and get some advice, but I'm not letting this go.
Just give me a call. Keep me abreast. Thank you for your call.
I will.
Let me go to my break. I'll be right back. More of you exhaling. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. It's Exhale Friday. Keeping it real. Be right back.
The fact of the matter is, Rosa Parks was not only the mother of the modern civil rights movement, she was the mother of this nation. Why would you say that, Sharpton? Because you called George Washington the father of the nation, but when he became father, we wasn't included in the nation. Women were not included in the nation. The first time we had a parent in this nation is when all of us was included, and Rosa Parks did that on December 1st, 1955. I heard somebody say Jim Crow is who she fought, and Jim Crow is still around. But Jim Crow is old. That's not who I'm mindful of today. The problem is Jim Crow has sons. The one we got to battle is James Crow Jr. Esquire. He's a little more educated. He's a little slicker. He's a little more polished. But the results are the same. He doesn't put you in the back of the bus. He just puts referendums on the ballot to end affirmative action when you can't go to school. He doesn't call you erase your name. He just marginalizes your existence. He doesn't tell you that he's set against you. He sets up institutional racism, where you have a nation respond looking for weapons in Iraq that are not there, but can't see a hurricane in Louisiana that is there. James Crow Jr. Esquire. That's who we got to fight. And if we are to win, if we are to really memorialize Rosa Parks, she would tell us to do in the generation of his son what she and Dr. King did to his daddy. They didn't talk a fight, they fought the fight. They didn't show up at funerals, they showed up on the picket line and the march line and the jailhouse. It amazes me that we sit there acting like we don't have work to do. And that many of us in our own community are mocking her memory. They formed a movement when they had none of what we got. You realize that Dr. King and Dr. Abernathy and them formed a boycott after Rosa Parks, where people stayed off the bus for a year, went to rallies every night, and they never had email, never had a cell phone, never could go online. Here you got 2 cell phones in your pocket,
emails, computers at the house, and can't even get a block association meeting together. We got so much more that they gave us, and we're doing so much less with it. They went to vote when people were threatening their lives. Medgar Evers was shot dead in his driveway, left 3 children inside that never knew how it was to have a father in their adult years, died to give us the right to vote. Pregnant women marched through the streets of Birmingham. They sick police dogs on them to give us the right to vote. 4 little girls bombed in a church in Birmingham, Alabama to give us the right to vote. And here you are 40 years later in Detroit, Michigan. No dogs biting you, no bombs going off, no bullets, too lazy and ungrateful. Making mockery of her memory. Making mockery of her memory. Nobody should have to beg you to vote. Nobody should have to beg you to stand up and protect the rights that they died and suffered to give us. You can't take care of one thing on the ballot in Michigan when they had to change the laws of all 50 states. You complaining about one referendum when they did a whole revolution and never fired one shot. And then you turn it around on each other. Why do I want my daughters to visit that stone? Because I want them to know black women are not hoes. You have music companies selling misogynist records to our children. Black womanhood was Rosa Parks sitting in dignity. She wasn't break dancing. She wasn't talking about pimp me out. She made the world respect her people. So I want to thank Reverend Jackson and Mrs. Jackson and others that taught us a little younger who Rosa was, and we got to pass that on. Now, I want to challenge everybody here today that when we leave here, you ought to make a Rosa resolution. You ought to make one commitment in her name to yourself. That you're going to either join some organization or you're going to stand for some policy. You ought to make a Rosa resolution. You ought to resolve that you're going to do something that'll make a difference because we're here because she made a difference. Most people come and go and we never come to say goodbye because their hellos didn't mean anything to us. But we're here because she touched every one of us. And we need to make a Rosa resolution. I said to some of the young rappers the other day talking to me about, well, you get on us about calling women out their names. I said you need to come and know the story of a dignified woman. They make the excuse, Mayor Kilpatrick said, well, you know, we love Aretha and that generation, but we just kick it like we see it. We just mirrors that reflect what we see. But there's something strange about that. I use a mirror every morning. But I don't get up out the bed, hair all over my head, sleep around my eyes, slobber around my mouth, walk outside talking about I'm going to keep it real. Mirrors are not only to reflect what you see, mirrors are to correct what you see. You need to make a Rosa resolution that we're going to correct what we see. We're going to keep the fight going. And we're going to have James Crow Jr. Esquire know that we are the children of those that change the world. My Rosa resolution is they won't have no rest until we finish the fight. Wherever I see an injustice, I'm going to stand up. If I can't stand up, I'm going to speak out. And if I can't speak out, I'm going to do like a Rosa. I'm going to get me a chair and just sit in the way.
Keeping it real.
I believe it's also important for the world to keep their eye on Israel's new prime minister, because there was a lot of protests going on against him because he was taking away a lot of democratic rights in Israel.
Be a part of the conversation. Have your say.
They don't want a two-state solution. They want to see Israel totally destroyed. If Israel is controlling everything about the Palestinians, their resources, their food, their water, their life, well, you're giving them no choice.
Just keep it real.
This thing with Israel is so dangerous, it's almost like World War III if we're not careful.
Live from the National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York.
There's no side that can justify, to me, killing innocent people.
Absolutely Keeping it real. It's XL Friday with the world's civil rights leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
You're live, sir.
Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. It's XL Friday. Boards are lit up, as well as our message board. Let's go right to my dear friend in Atlanta, Georgia, Northwest to be exact, D. D, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Merry Christmas, Reverend Al. Thank you so very much for all that you do. We're keeping you prayed up because you represent us, Reverend Al. Thank you so very much for all that you do. Please know that we appreciate you. Most of us, we appreciate you. We know you're out there for us, Reverend Al.
Thank you.
And I can't think of anybody else who's out there doing what you do right now.
Thank you.
My comment today is on, I was very upset when I heard about the death of Rob Reiner and his wife. And I was thinking that one of the jobs of all United States presidents has been to offer comfort and empathy when something tragic happens, even if it's his political critic. But Trump doesn't have the capacity to do that. When Rob Reiner died, Trump said it was from Trump derangement syndrome.
That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said. And the truth of the matter is, I heard somebody say that Trump is deranged. But Reverend Al, Trump is not deranged. I want your listening audience to find the definition of narcissism. And Trump has a narcissistic personality. In fact, his picture should be next in the dictionary next to the word narcissism or narcissist, because that's exactly what he is. He is missing the gene for empathy. He doesn't. Remember when the guy collapsed in his office and all other people were trying to help the man, and Trump just stood there with his back. Who turns their back on somebody who has fainted? If you can't help, you at least turn around to look.
That's right.
Yeah, but he feels like he deserves privileges and special treatment and expects to be recognized as superior. It's a sickness.
He just changed the name of the Kennedy Center, one of the cultural epic centers in this country, named after President John Kennedy, who was martyred there in 1963 in Dallas, Texas. And he changed it to the Trump, had his board that he handpicked, changed it to the Trump Kennedy Center. I mean,
who does that?
Only narcissists and sick ones at that.
A few weeks ago, there was a female senator or a member of the House of Representatives, and she was talking to Mike Johnson, and she looked at Mike Johnson, and she was talking about Trump, and she said, you know, he is unwell, and Mike Johnson did not refute that.
We are dealing with a person in the White House who is destroying the White House and destroying the nation because he is unwell. Reverend L, we got to pray. Have a good Christmas, Reverend L. We love you.
Love you. Thank you for your call. Always glad to begin and end the week with my friend Miss Eunice, and glad when I hear from my other buddy in Atlanta, Sister D. Let's go to Spencer in Little Mountain, South Carolina. Spencer.
Hey, hello, Al. Thanks for accepting my call during this holiday season. But I got a different point of view. Now, we talking about Rob and his wife, Michelle, and the son that committed suicide. And not committed suicide, but killed them. That's what I want to bring up, a different point. Okay, now, my thing is, when a husband and a wife have a child, or a boyfriend, girlfriend have a child, they both have to have that parenting pair of balanced thought patterns of how to raise that child, especially if it's in the same household. Okay? But what we picking up in the modern world is when the husband is not around, who is trying to emphasize a certain pattern, the wife use motherly, bargaining energy. Okay, now, my point is this. Ron was out of town on many occasions because he was doing movies, and sometimes he was away 45 days, sometimes 2 months. I'm thinking that's what's happening with that boy was the mother didn't emphasize what was being forced in the house when Ron was there. There was a void. So now, let me put a pin in that for a second. Let's look at the Australian killing with the Jews. A father talked a son into killing people. Where is the woman? Where's that boy's mother at who stood there next to his father, killing folks just at random? See, there's a point that we are missing here is when two people have a child or they commit to raising that child, then they also is looking at when that child was born and what pattern of kids. Because sometimes it's the sisters and the brothers that help raise the child. The child don't have a problem at all following when everybody in the household is on the same message. But if they can find a void, that's what they do. And I think in this case, all I'm trying to raise is another opinion, is the fact I think Michelle, the mother, didn't maintain that okay, watch this. The other family members who were supportive, there's a lot of jealousy was there. They were supposed to have helped her or help Ron with that child. When that boy got to the party, that last party, 8 hours before the death, what that boy did was went around there hollering at people and telling people off. Guess what? The mother saw it, but guess who finally had to go over there and tell that boy to knock it off? Was Ron.
Wow.
Now,
Wow.
that's just my thoughts, Reverend. Take care of yourself.
All right, you have a great holiday. Thank you for your call. Let's go to Chief Kamara in Chicago. Chief Kamara. I don't hear the chief.
Brother?
Yes, I hear you now.
Hey, my brother, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing well.
All right, my brother, how you feeling? Man, I'm trying to be like you, brother. I want to get like my brother. Yeah, I just wanted to say, I'm really happy to see our sister Jasmine Crockett running for Senate, man. I haven't been into politics a lot, but she has revived my spirit, and I want to give her 100% support. Although I'm for separation and build an independent nation. But I think we got to have something in the meantime, in between time. So she has my full support, you know. And I just, what are your thoughts on?
I think that it is the right time. It is a red state, but I think if anyone can crack it, it's her. She has the intellect and the energy. I've talked to her many times, and I think that if the people in Texas goes for their own interests, she'll be successful. But we've got to go out there and work.
Well, I want Al Sharpton to run for the next president. And, I want you got my full support.
Well,
you got to balance that. I want to make a go at it again.
All right, thank you for your call. We'll talk about that another time. I'm not gonna give you an answer. Chief trying to box me in. I got you, Chief. Let's Saved by the Bell. There's the music. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Oh, do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh, my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited. And you should be excited to turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you. And if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live. 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9. And we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized.
This is the first Thanksgiving I'm here in New York. Over 20 years. I'm just glad to be here with Rev today and to hand out the food. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It's Erica Ford, the Peace Doctor in the building. Here at the National Action Network, it's about thanks. It's about giving. It's about gratitude. It's about love. I feel it is important for you to understand that there's work out here to be done, but it starts with gratitude, it starts with giving, it starts with peace, it starts with love. Let's go.
Before we feed our family, we got to make sure that we feed the community. That's right. That's what it's all about. We have to come with Sharpton phones. You come and you make sure you show up, serve the community. That's what it's all about.
No justice, no justice, no justice. What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom, let my people go, go. We're gonna shine and the shade. Give me a papa glory, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water, children.
Rev, you know you were right there
From the beginning.
with the stuff that
Yep.
was going on in Brooklyn at
Yep.
that time, at
Yep.
Howard Beach. You
Yep.
were right there.
He had in one of the early movies, he had my name. Then he put me in Malcolm, and I wasn't even old enough to know Malcolm. So we've been through it all.
For those who see Malcolm X, it's 3 hours. But fast forward to the scene with yourself,
Yep.
Bobby Seale.
Right. Bobby Seale, Denzel, and me.
Yeah.
Denzel was on the set.
Now, let me ask a question.
Yep.
What was your weight on that scene?
I probably about 270. I was bigger then.
Yeah.
Still had the hair, man.
Yeah, you had the head on.
Yeah, it was
Denzel, yourself, and Bobby Seale.
Yeah, all in one scene.
And also, there was no cut. We went like this.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Only Spike could have done that.
It's my brother right here.
My baby.
Brooklyn's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Brooklyn's in the house.
BK.
Joining James Brown, Muhammad Ali, and myself now from New York City is the Reverend Al Sharpton. And Mr. Brown, James, I'd like to ask you about this young man, how you came to meet him, and what the National Youth Movement, which he represents, is all about. Tell me something about it.
It's about teaching young kids the right way to go and the things to be involved in education. Don't be a dropout, which is one thing I'm very much behind. Unless kids have guidance, they have no place to go. And the idea is to try to mold them. I mean, we think of anything, we think of it as a baby. And what we molded them to be is what it will be later on. He used to stand at my back door. And he believed in what I said, the Don't Be a Dropout program, and the fact of helping kids and giving them the right idol and the right image to go with, cleaning, grooming, and wanting to work, wanting to be something. I started as a kid, a juvenile delinquent, and everything. Had no model. And I was able to be a model for a young man like this. And what he turned out to be, he's a minister, and he preaches the right thing, and I'm for him 1,000%. I'm for everything he's about.
Mr. Sharpton, how national right now is the National Youth Movement? Is it something new? Has it been going on for a while? Do you have a stated number of members? Tell me something about it.
Well, we don't really get into a numbers game because that's been a trick that has been played for the last 20 years. What we're basically interested in doing is saying to young people of impoverished backgrounds that there are people like a Muhammad Ali and a James Brown that represents hope to us. Because these people, despite all of the social odds, despite the unemployment statistics, despite the lack of education in their day, were able to grow and be something that we can be proud of. A man like me didn't have a father at home, but I had a James Brown to look up to and would want to sing and dance like him, or Muhammad Ali, who I saw stand up and give away millions of dollars of stamps to the government so that I would have a right to come 10 or 20 years later and try to fight for my kids. So what we're saying is there are symbols and images that kids can look up to and not have to throw a brick through a window, but that can work by the sweat of their brow and succeed just like these two gentlemen did.
But considering the numbers of young kids today, and Rev, there are hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of kids who really are in hopeless and desperate situations, is it enough to just offer them an example?
You say hopeless, though. Not hopeless.
Well, let's say, well, to them, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids,
it's never hopeless. There's no such thing as hopeless. It's never hopeless. When I got 8 to 16 years for breaking and entering as a kid, because I was hungry, and here I am today, it's not hopeless. Don't say hopeless. Then we're carving out. I don't believe in hopeless. Don't you think it's hope? If you believe in something, it's right. No such hopeless. I don't believe in hopeless. We're not going to go with that. And I think he's not about teaching them how to get out and fight for themselves. That's what it's about. No, it's not hopeless. Everybody has a cause and everything, but everybody want to live. And I think living is what we're about. We're not going to teach dying. Hopeless is dying.
I agree with you 100%, James. But what I'm trying to ask here is simply saying you too can be a James Brown or a Muhammad Ali. Is that enough to give a kid who's hungry, who doesn't know where his next meal is coming?
I'll say that.
Give him somewhere to go.
I think it's awful weak to tell a kid you can be a James Brown, one of the greatest entertainers in the world, and me, one of the greatest fighters. And like you said, the hundreds of thousands of millions of kids that need a break. You can't have that many great people, but they can get educated, they can go to school, they can learn. I'd like to say one thing. We have crime today, it's a big problem. I think they took a national vote on what the people want the government to spend most of the money on, and crime was over national defense. Worrying about Russia, China, outside enemies, they're worrying about inside crime. We have crime today, all type prostitution, murder, exploitation, degradation, and wars of all kinds. And I'm going to tell you why everything's happening. And I think if you're intelligent, you agree with it. If we were riding an airplane and the two pilots died for some reason, is there anybody in this room that can go in the cockpit, pick up the radio, start working it, bring the plane in, depressurize it as it land, and make it, and late at night on a stormy day? You couldn't do it.
Right.
Well, but if you learn how to fly, or if they show you how to fly, you can. Since God made the world and God made us, He sent the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, sent Moses, Jesus, Noah, to show us how to run the world. And God left His laws. If we don't follow His laws, then we crash.
Let me say this, though, Mr. Snyder, in response to your question to Mr. Brown, Mr. Ali. Yes, it is enough to begin with showing them an example. Because before you get to education, you need motivation. If you don't have motivation to get out of the bed, you won't make school or the party. And what we try to do by showing a James Brown or Muhammad Ali is not that you can be a great champion maybe like Ali or a great entertainer like James Brown, but if you use the same initiative that they did to make him get up 5 in the morning and run 10 miles and just have a dream and to come back 3 times to accomplish that dream, to have more hits than anybody in the world, even in the music world, we can give him credit for it.
Keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Let us go back where we have on the message board, and we going back to the phones. And I think Democracy.Fund says when Israel is treated as the one country that has no right to exist, that's not policy critique, that's scapegoating, all right? Some debate on Israel and Palestine. Destined Forever says, thank you for letting me know. Disrespectful people take me to another place. Stephanie says, Tanya Stovall says, yes, Stephanie always calls Reverend Sharpton by his first name. No respect at all. Some people just don't know how to show respect. I don't know what. I'm in the middle of that traffic. I didn't see the beginning of that trail. I see Rodney Jones, the mayor of Queensbridge houses in Queens, New York, was watching the commercial during the break where James Brown and Muhammad Ali went on Tom Snyder's show to introduce me to the nation. I think that was about 1981 or 2. And I'll never forget Tom Snyder said, how do you give Mr. Brown when you're dealing with Reverend Sharpton and tell these young people to have hope? There's no hope. And James Brown said, oh, no, there's always hope. Don't ever say there's no hope. And he started talking about how he came out of jail as a juvenile delinquent. Look where he went. Don't ever tell people don't have hope. James Brown said it on Tom Snyder, and he said it to me many, many times, that there is no such thing as hopeless. Let's go to Deborah in Atlanta, Georgia. Deborah, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hi, Reverend Sharpton. Good day to you. Good happy Friday.
Same to you.
I wanted to comment on the comments. Thank you. On the comments when you started off today when speaking about Donald Trump, and you were saying how he is. I'm going to say this, and I mean it. Donald Trump is just a bad seed, y'all. He's like was given everything from his mother to his father to his grandfather because they knew he wasn't going to amount to anything. Out of all the things that he had, all the money in the world, look who he chose as best friend, Epstein. Should have had his own island, but he chose to go on that man's island. He's just a bad seed, and he really is. I resent what y'all said about calling him a narcissist, too, because I'm a narcissist, and we don't think like that. You have to, and I accept who I am as the person as I am. Donald Trump is just trash, y'all. I'm telling you. And one thing I have noticed is that, Donald, if you're listening, I really miss you. I wish you would come outside and play some more. Don't come outside and play anymore. But what I really wanted to say, Reverend Sharpton, is I wanted to ask you a question because I noticed something recently. And to all the people who call in and try to belittle Reverend Sharpton and things that he does, and the things that Nance does, and the things that other people of power do, or people of not of power. When I say of power, they don't have to have a political stance, but their voice is very powerful. I live in the state of Georgia, and a couple of weeks ago, I was out and about. And I was traveling a little further out. Georgia's a large state. There's a lot of different cities within it. I was coming out of a place called Villa Rica. And as I passed by, I saw 3 young Caucasian officers. And I saw a car, and I saw 3 cars, and I saw a car in front of them. And as I passed by, I looked to my right, I saw a young African young man on the floor, on the ground, because we're on the expressway. They were on the shoulder, on the right shoulder. So I looked over and I said, okay. And I kept on. I went and did what I was doing. Then I had to come back down to come to the other end to go someplace else. And I looked over there, they were still there, and I went ahead and did what I was doing. So then when I came back up the expressway, they were still there. And that caught my eye, y'all. And I said, something like this doesn't feel right. So I turned around and then I stopped. I didn't get out of the car before I even stopped. I had my license in my hand. And then one of the Caucasian, and this is not black and white, y'all, because I'm colorblind. I'm just letting you know so you can picture what I'm looking at. So one of the Caucasians, young man, came up to my car and said, "Oh, hey, can I help you?" I said, "No, I'm just passed by a couple of times, and I'm just checking on the young man because I see him on the ground there next to the car as I roll by." And he goes, "Oh, do you know this family?" I said, "No, do you?" And then he started, "Oh, you're in my jurisdiction. Oh, I can cite you." I said, "No, you cannot. No, you cannot. I'm a citizen. I have the right. I'm not nowhere up there. I'm still in my car. I have my license with me. Call your sergeant." And then I said, "What are you, 21, 22 years old?" He was 23 years old, y'all. And I bring this point across because there was no sergeant there with him. All three of them were, just like I said, between 22 and 23 years old. And the young man on the ground, and this was an extended period of time. And this is why I'm saying, nobody call and say nothing to you, because I see plenty of cars look, but nobody stopped. I kept going because I was thinking, oh, maybe it's a traffic stop or whatever. But when I saw the young man on the ground, it didn't sit right with me. So then I stopped. So what I want to say about all of you who have a voice, who talk about so many other people about what they're not doing, what are you doing? You don't have to stop and be belligerent. You don't have to stop and be unkind. But if you see something that doesn't look right, doesn't feel right, you stop. And this brings me to my point, because when I got the sergeant there, first of all, I told the two young men, "You don't holler at me. You don't scream at me. You don't holler at me." And it put me in the reference of this is why I say I'm colorblind, of the young black officer. He was 23. And the same thing happened with the deacon, where the deacon called the police in Atlanta, Georgia, and he was disrespectful to the deacon, and they tased the deacon. The deacon ended up dying. That wasn't going to happen to me, trust that. But I'm just saying, when they're young like that, they need guidance, and somebody needs to be with them regardless of what color they are. So when the sergeant came, the sergeant was like, "Oh, well, I was on my way up here." I'm like, "It took you a long time to get here." And then he said that the young man was being detained. So I kept thinking about that. Well, because why was he on the ground? So then I called a lawyer, a prominent lawyer that I know here, basically, and asked a question. And I said, "Well, how long can you detain somebody?" He told me that they can detain them for however they want to. And I said, "That doesn't make any sense." He says, "Well, they can detain you until they arrest you." I believe that we need to look into that. Because I also seen some things on social media over, since I've been watching social media the last year or two, where I seen somebody in New York, and there's 5 officers around this gentleman, and he was standing at the stoop, and another black man walked up and was asking what was going on. They were saying they detained him. He said, "Well, are they under arrest?" They say no. And so I'm like, we need to start questioning that, because I can see that as coming up. How long can you detain somebody? It doesn't make sense to me that you can just detain someone without arresting them. Is that I asked him, is it an hour? Is it 2 hours? He says as long as they feel like they can until they arrest them. Reverend Sharpton, that makes no sense to me. That makes absolutely no sense to me, and I think that needs to be looked at.
It doesn't make any sense to you because it doesn't make sense. And one of the things, and I think you raised some excellent points there, Deborah, because one of the things that I've said to people when we have fought stop and frisk here in New York and Philly and other places, and turned around and then fought police cases and stood up for other things. And, you'd have somebody, I'll say other civil rights leaders, well, let Sharpton them handle that. Those are small issues. We're handling global issues. Because y'all don't live in a world where people are throwing you to the ground and you become so removed from the community, you think that isn't big. It is big. There's nothing that has ignited more of a movement in the last decade than George Floyd. And George Floyd wasn't an ambassador with a PhD. He was a guy that was a regular guy, had a questionable background according to them, but people understood the knee on their neck. And just like you stopped, that's what we do. And I tell you this, Deborah, and I know we got to go to break, the things you say people are questioning me about, I've never gotten to a case, whether it was Howard Beach 40 years ago, or George Floyd, now Ahmaud Arbery, I never got in a case that I had to get in line to help out. I always was usually the only one that would answer. I never had to say, we'll be part of the funeral, we'll pay part of it, y'all help put in the rest. We had to pay for the funeral. So I could give less than 2 cents about people that won't do nothing criticizing me for doing what they would not do. Thank you for your call. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Exhale Friday. Be right back.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS.
Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the 2 most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
Racial discord, a blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I
a race
had to
baiter.
learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that called me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them. Now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old. Went to jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
Knew love like this before, 'cause I never knew love like this before.
Sounds so good. That was beautiful. Thank you, everyone. I am humbled and grateful to be here with you tonight. I love you too. I love you too. It seems like I've known Reverend Al Sharpton all my life. My mom was such a fan of his, and I've seen him through my life in LA at MCA Records. When I was there, he'd come through, you know, and get those people straight about our contracts and talk about that. And I haven't been honored a lot. Maybe this is my second time, and I'm 68 years old. And I've been in this business my entire life. I've never done what you would call a real job. But I am truly honored, and I'm thankful, and I love us. I love my black people. And I fight for us, and I want the women, the black women, to really know their worth. Know that they're queens. That's important to me. That's how my mother raised me. My mother was militant, I guess, when it wasn't trendy, yes. Because when I was a little girl, my mother and father would drive in Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, do or die. And when she would see police officers handling black children or a black boy.
Live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, both on Saturday, tomorrow, and on Sunday, 5 p.m. And among my guests this weekend, I'm going to have Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, that dynamic Congresswoman out of Massachusetts. I'm going to have on the candidate for the brother running in South Carolina. I'm going to have the ministers on from what came out of the the Conference of National Black Churches. I'm going to have on the mayor, the first Democratic candidate who just won for mayor of Miami. She's going to make her appearance on Politics Nation over the weekend. Watch both nights, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. I'm sorry, MS Now. I'm not staying up to date with the new name, and we are about third weekend, MS Now, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. You that in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut vicinity, meet me in the morning in Harlem at the National Action Network's House of Justice, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue in the village of Harlem. 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., I'll be giving my Christmas Kwanzaa message tomorrow. What is the meaning of it? Everybody likes a holiday, but very few people talk about why and what the holiday means. I'm going to give that message in the morning at the Saturday Action Rally. You that are not in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, you can watch it live on Impact Television, the only black-owned national cable gospel station. And, of course, you can watch it live on www.nationalactionnetwork.net, our live stream. All right, let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Wale in Manhattan, New York. Wale?
Reverend Al?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon. So, the other night, Reverend Al, I couldn't sleep, so I went to my Bible, and I went to the concordance. That's like a dictionary. You probably know that, but the audience, whoever's listening may not know that a concordance is like a dictionary. But so I came across Luke 2, the book of Luke. That's like, they call it the New Testament, but from what I understand, the old was, I think, the Hebrew language, and then the new is the Aramaic, Latin, etc. So the whole book of Luke in the so-called New Testament is good to read. It talks about Elizabeth and Zechariah when they had, when she was pregnant with John the Baptist. But what caught my eye was the story of Jesus Christ. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says here, and the angel said unto them, fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. You shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling cloths, laying in the manger. And suddenly there with the angel a multitude of heavenly hosts, praising God and saying, glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. Those were the shepherds that the angel went to and told them that this child was going to be born. You'll find him in the manger, etc. Now, what's my point? I'm sorry, Sharpton. Basically, you know why Christmas is so popular?
Why?
Not because of Jesus. Okay. Now, give me a break, Sharpton. Sharpton. Let me tell you why they got everything shiny and glistening. Okay. Men are basically down to earth. They're plain ordinary, right? Women and children, they like shiny stuff, everything glistening. You like women, give her a diamond, and the more carats, the better. Women like shiny stuff. So that's how these marketers, these people who market stuff, who get paid to market things, you know what I'm talking about. They go to college and everything to learn how to market. And they say, okay, keep it shiny. That way we can sell more stuff. Because the women, they see it shining and the kids see it sparkling. Because truth be told, Christmas ain't about all them little babies, giving them toys and stacking them up with all kind of bikes and all this kind of thing here. Christmas was not meant for that. But society, they want us to think, oh, it's for the kids. Santa Claus, and he coming down your chimney, and he gonna give you this and that, and the tree lit up with the balls and all this kind of thing here. Society wants us to think, oh, it's okay. We know it's about Jesus Christ, but for the kids, let the kids be happy. Guess what? Children like truth more than anything else. They like the truth. When I was coming up in my mother's household, I know I could talk about it all day, but I don't have enough time. When I was coming up in my household, you knew you was going to get a clean apartment Christmas time. The apartment was going to be spotless. There was going to be a good meal, and we got one toy. I remember that big doll. I don't think we got the big doll every year, but we did get a life-size doll. You ran through the hall. This one in that apartment came to your house. You went to their house. All this kind of thing here. And we knew, growing up, we knew our place. Nobody taught us, you're a child, this is adult. Respect them. Stay in your lane. You knew your lane. You learned by what you saw. And that's how we lived. The teachers, You did something, they pop you on your hand, the principal, pop you on your hand with the ruler. You didn't run home and tell your mother. And all this kind of thing here. So what's my point? This whole Christmas thing has been marketed. People do it, listen, do what you want to do, but because I was even apprehensive about even talking about I said, Wale, you do your thing. Birds of a feather flock together. You flock with the birds that think the way you think, and let them birds over there do whatever they want to do. But that's what depresses people. That's why our people are so depressed, because we got to go along to get along. We're going to have to stop doing that. Because this story that the good Lord got me out that bed the other night, I was depressed. I got up out my bed, Reverend Sharpton, grabbed my Bible that my friend that go to Salvation Deliverance, she bought me this Bible, this little pocket Bible. I opened it up, went to the concordance, and it said good tidings. I looked up the scripture, Luke 2:10 to 14. Read this, the whole thing is good. If you could read it from second chapter all the way over, it talks about Elizabeth and Zachariah and all the whole. It's a wonderful story. If we can stick to the script and stop deviating with all these toys. Oh, take John over there. He going to get some toys over there. And they giving toys away over there. And you got your kids popping all over the place getting freebies. You're teaching them how to beg. I know I sound like I'm preaching. Like they say, when you're pointing the finger, there's 4 pointing back at you. So I got that point. I got that point, Reverend. But this is just how I feel.
All right.
This is how I feel.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for your call. Let me go to Geralda in Brooklyn, New York. Geralda.
Yes. Hold on one moment. I have you on speaker. Yes. Hello, Reverend. And
Hi.
this Geralda keeping it real. I agree with you, Wale. I agree with you 100%. And I have a special greetings for the folks that grew up in a house similar to what your grandfather grew up in, that went to the big cities, became professionals, came home every holiday, dress up in old raggedy clothes and walk around barefoot like they never been anywhere. Happy holidays to them. I'm a little upset that this rat czar, I was, a little complexed about the rat czar leaving, being that we've been suffering with rats and roaches before our grandparents was alive.
Wait, Geraldo, you're on a national show. They have no idea what you're talking about. The rat czar is in New York City that was appointed by the mayor to deal with the problem of rats. You got to tell people what you're talking about. Everybody listening is not living in New York, have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, sorry, folks. Yeah, we're dealing with a rat czar that was appointed in the what do you call it? The Eric Adams administration that's supposed to be leaving now that he's leaving office, which I find to be so ridiculous, because we've been suffering with rats and roaches before our grandparents was alive, but yet the newspapers made it a point to make this thing a regular spectacle all over the newspapers that this mayor was affiliated with rats, which is just a artful, sophisticated slur. Now, they claimed that the rats are being under control with this appointed czar. So why would she have to leave? Because before the mayor became mayor, years before the mayor became mayor, we saw rats infestation. It was talked about.
Yeah, well, I think
taking the pizza.
I think that what she's leaving, because everybody leaves when the mayor that appoints them goes out of office. The new mayor appoints who they want to put in those positions. So I would assume that Mandani is going to appoint his own rat commissioner, like he's going to appoint his own chancellor to the Board of Education, on and on and on. Every mayor has the right to choose their own administration. They don't have to keep the people that the previous administration had. Hello?
And continues because, hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes.
I hope that, I hope that position continue, because we need to get control of these rats and roaches that afflicts everyone here. And, this is something that's been going on for centuries. So I don't know, why they must eliminate that position. Anyway, happy holidays
All right,
to
happy
you and everyone
holidays to
that's
you.
listening.
Thank you for your call. And again, I do hope they keep the position. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. We stand with Essence Magazine because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, it's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, because our rhythm and our music reminds us who we are. Because we can smile through our pain and organize for our gain. Let's stand up and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you, God bless you. Tried to turn it into a nightmare. We come to Wall Street rather than Washington this year to let them know you can try to turn back the clock, but you can't turn back time. We gonna keep the dream alive on Wall Street. And I think that is extremely important about the funding. But I also want to add how they're changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach Black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes Blacks. We don't want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight with the courts and the streets, because they are literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunities, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, which they did, started at Harvard with a Black woman president. Started with them saying you can't teach diversity in an Ivy League school like Harvard. It didn't start in Little Rock at the high school. This fight, this time, was Harvard. And they went from there on. And I think that we've got to have the same resistance. If they could fight in the 50s, and ACP with the Defense Forces together and deal with the question from Little Rock in terms of desegregation, then we that are far more educated, far more economically secure personally, have no excuse in the age of what they did in Harvard not to be standing up back in this.
New York Times says he's not only the most important person. State University, and I have
the Tennessee State University leaders who all want to thank you for being
I got him, sir.
civil rights leader.
The Attorney General of Black America, Ben Crump.
Commitment to justice.
And I'm probably going to need your help on this legal fight. You know, they shorted the historically black colleges and universities to the tune of about $13 billion, and Tennessee State was the one they shorted the most.
Absolutely. Well, let me know. I'm on the next plane as soon as you holler. You know, when Ben Crump called, I don't even question it. I just head to the airport and get the details on the way.
Live from the National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. Keeping it real. It's Exhale Friday. And now, America's #1 civil rights leader, the Reverend Al.
You're live.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we are back this Exhale Friday. Last Exhale Friday before the holiday. And by the way, we'll be here throughout the holiday and into the new year every day. I like doing the show on holidays because sometimes people work and can't call in or text message in the way they want on a message board. So we'll be here through the holiday. And we are expecting you, particularly at this critical time of what's going on, to really be alert, involved. It's not time to take things off. Turn yourself on. And Evangelist Ramsey, one of our great activists in New York, says, and that's just what it is, your opinion, not preaching unless you have scripture with the anointing to do so. Old-time elders would say, many are sent by God and many just went without him. Glad you asked. By the love they have for each other, no partiality or favoritism among people. What would Jesus do? Matthew 7:12. Do unto all the people as you want done unto you. 2026 exposure season. Yes, Lord, amen. All right, that's a word from Evangelist Ramsey. Joined as we are every Friday for Exhale Friday. We almost at the end of the year. He's been here with us for years now. He is the senior pastor of the historic King Solomon Baptist Church of Detroit, Michigan, and head of national expansion and the Michigan State Chair of National Action Network, the Reverend Charles Williams II. How you doing, Reverend? I don't hear Reverend Williams. I do not hear Reverend Williams. Somebody tell me something.
I don't know what happened. I try to get him back.
All right. Let's try to hook him back up. Y'all got to come tell me something. I don't know if it's mine or that. Let's go to the phones then while we're waiting on Reverend Williams. Let's go to Richard in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Richard.
Hey, Reverend Al.
Hey.
I wanted to talk. I want to talk about the healthcare system. Like my mother's like 88 years old, and she's in the hospital right now. She was a teacher.
Got him, sir.
And she worked as an LPN, and I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation where she's bleeding internally, like in her abdomen, but they're not telling me. It's like that, like they didn't want to do the test to even tell me, like what's going on, it's just, I don't know. And it's not really a black or white thing, but like when, the old saying, white folks have a cold, black folks have COVID-19, and it's just, I've been to 3 different hospitals. Hold on a second. I've been to Aurora St. Luke's Medical Center, Ascension, Columbia St. Mary's Hospital, and Freighter Hospital, in Wisconsin. And, I haven't seen not one black doctor, So, I think we need to really start working with our kids, especially these 18-year-olds, and get them into medicine and make sure the schools are training them properly. Because, I've been to college. I did some pre-med, and I'm also a pilot. I know how the school system is. They kind of just throw things that kids have halfway, finance them, and we need to give these kids like the right resources and time to, they get their minds right, because that medical stuff and a lot of the technical stuff takes time for your mind to understand it. So we just can't just throw things at these kids and just expect them to understand it. You got to give them time to understand it, because most stuff I learned I taught myself. I might have flunked the class once, but once I learned what it was, I knew how to research, get manuals and just read, and I come back teaching the teacher, so. But I don't know. We need to look at this medical system, because I don't know. I just get a bad feeling from these, the hospital. It's just the vibe and the way they talk to you. It's like they don't even, like my mother has full health care, and they're like she has health care. Like why does she get like 100%? Because my father was in the military and taught and was a teacher, and my mother was a teacher in LP, and that's why she got full cup. Just the attitude, not only attitude. I know she's not gonna live forever. She's 88, but it's just like if somebody's gonna die, like let them die in dignity. It's like they don't want to waste the money. Like.
No, I agree with you, because I've seen the callous disregard for people. I don't care whether you think they're on the point of death or whether you think they don't matter. If you're a professional in healthcare, you're supposed to take care of people to the best way possible. And I think that that's what you're saying. And I think that people like that ought to be really exposed and have complaints against them. But I pray for your mother and I pray for your holiday. I think I have Rem Williams on. Thank you for your call. Rem Williams.
Yes, sir.
All right. We couldn't hear you before. We are approaching Christmas, Kwanzaa, New Year's, and people are facing 23 million facing that it appears that the Affordable Care Act will expire and that the premiums will go so high that people will not be able to afford health care. At the same time, we see the war drums beating in Venezuela. This president keeps blowing up boats saying he's going after the country in the name of drug trafficking coming from Venezuela to the United States, while he pardoned the ex-president of Honduras, who was convicted in United States courts for drug trafficking and was doing 45 years in jail. We see what is going on in terms of this president saying out loud that we're going to deal with the economy, we're doing better than ever, and people are saying, wait a minute, gas is high, everything is going up. I mean, it is a somber holiday we're going into this week, Reverend Williams.
Rev, you said it very clearly. This is a somber time because there are certainly many issues upon us. And quite honestly, this time is a time where we could sit back with concern, or we could stand up with the righteous moral authority that we have and continue to fight and fight past all of these things. I'm reminded over the last few years, I believe it was in 2016, 2017, we took thousands to Washington, D.C. as we marched down the streets. We won't go back. I think, as we prepare to go forward in the 2026, what my wheels are turning on, and I know our national board just met, and I know our national leadership is working on it, but what becomes our response? Because action has to be, from this vantage point, has to be our next step. Not only are we concerned about all the issues you just mentioned, because all of those issues are equally important, but let's just be honest here. We have a United States Attorney General who, if we don't think They have plans in the works to delegitimize, devalidate the democratic process in 2026 when it comes to these local elections, congressional representative and state representatives. We got another thing coming. And November 26th, we are likely to see the biggest Democratic cluster coup that we've ever seen happen before, because not only do we have a president, but we have a Supreme Court as well as the Department of Justice that could all conspire to do the injustice around voting rights and democracy issues in this country. It's going to require us to be overwhelmingly resolute and making sure that we come out not with inches of votes, but droves of votes in communities where they think they might be able to try to see if they can steal elections. We got work on our hands.
Oh, big work. That's what we were talking about, absolute big work to do. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton Williams. Be right back. Oh, do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited too. Turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you. And if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live. 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9. And we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized. Hey, what's up? They got, they're doing, thank you. They're doing, what's on your mind? Yeah. All right, then, oh, you got a birthday this week. I got to talk about that.
Oh, no.
Happy birthday this weekend. And Carrie White's birthday, right?
Corey's birthday is today.
Yeah, and I got to tell Reverend Birthday reading Daniel 5th chapter. I want him to read. And I'm ready. Got a message from today, so we'll be on the air in what? Half hour.
About a half hour.
So tune in to the WBLS 107.5 FM and National Impact and www.nationalnetwork.net. All right, I'm ready. Make sure you operate on time or I'll tell them I owe y'all.
In London, yeah. We've got many problems there. We need you over our side. Yeah, you're invited anytime, please. Whenever you want to come.
There we go.
Dice! What's up, Doc?
So we are in not a political dilemma, we are in a moral dilemma. And if the black church does not come with a prophetic voice, then who's going to do it? We can go through all the data, all the statistics, all we're going through in the workshops, but the question is, where is the action going to be? We all believe in Jesus. Jesus didn't teach theology, he healed people. And they learned the nature of the theology based on his healing. We've got to heal this nation. And if we heal this nation, the nation will return to our churches. But we've become silent and compromised. And we try to blame it on, I'm not in this. You are in this. You live it, your members live it. Unemployment now is higher now than it's been since the pandemic. Yet we survive. Yes, sir. There's no history in the world of any people that went through the kind of psychological, cultural, and physical slavery like blacks did in America. The only reason we're still here is because of our faith. We had no external strength. We had an internal strength. And it was the God that we were taught by our mamas and grandmamas that brought us through. And I don't care who's sitting in the White House, we cannot betray the God that brought us through.
Past hope, because I grew up, like I said, single mama on welfare, and my mother told me there's a part in life that hope's gonna run out, but she told me you got a double barrel in your engine. I said, what is that? She said you can switch from hope to faith. Faith is a little deeper than hope. Bishop Hilliard is here. Faith is when hope runs out. Faith is the substance of things. Hope for the evidence of things not seen. Faith is when we were emancipated after 246 years of slavery and walked off the plantations with no education, no money, no future. And we built black churches and black colleges and black fraternities. We had faith. Faith made us stand up to the most powerful nation in the world and turn it around. Faith means we went from the back of the bus to the front of the White House. We come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in his holy word. He never failed us yet.
I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talents in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones. And too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they gotta open doors for you, It may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters who both have come into their own or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I help formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advise you on all things from social justice strategies, politics.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Charles Williams is our co-host. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Cincinnati, Ohio, the buzz, to Still Bill. Still Bill, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hello.
Hello there.
How you doing, Reverend?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. This is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. I just came back from a Christmas party. I just want to say that Donald Trump has not done squat, okay, in the 2 years that he's been back in office. And it's just a whole lot of bull. But like I say, God is my judge. God is my president. God is my jury. And Reverend, as always, it is a pleasure to talk to you. It is a pleasure to praise you for your stellar work. And Dominique, I promise to keep it real. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, thank you as well. Rem Williams, I think that what people miss, and I'm going to talk about tomorrow at the Saturday rally here in New York, is that we have become so commercialized around holidays that religious holidays or even civic holidays have no meaning anymore. And I think that I never did understand what Santa Claus has to do with Christ being born. And some reindeers have to do with Joseph and Mary having to bring the child and escape to Egypt, North Africa, so he wouldn't be killed by the oppressors out of Rome. And we don't even question this. We pass it down. Well, Santa Claus is coming. Well, why are we... And I'm not against doing things that would, help kids have some camaraderie, but why do we do that at the elimination of real meaning? And the same is true, and I'm going to talk about that as well, that we allow people to commercialize Kwanzaa. Dr. Malana Karanga, who I know well, in fact, he did the 50th anniversary of Kwanzaa at the House of Justice. And they did it as principles for us to live by, formed in the 60s in the height of the rebellions, and they called them riots, and the civil rights movement, to give us a code of ethics. And stores took that, started selling Kwanzaa apparel. And what was crazier is we bought it. And I think that the commercializing of these things are certainly, in my opinion, designed to take the impact out of them.
Yeah, Rev, I think that we are definitely... I think what we have to know is, and what a lot of people don't talk about, is that we are celebrating, when you talk about Santa Claus and Christmas trees and all of this other stuff, we're celebrating the colonized version of Christmas. And we don't, in many ways, spend enough time talking about the fact that this is this is this Jesus movement. Period was a liberation movement. I mean, we don't talk about Caesar. We don't talk about Rome. We don't talk about the occupation. I ain't talking about today. I'm talking about 2,000 years ago in the first century when Jesus first came on the scene. So I think we miss all of those really important pieces about Christmas. Even when we think about the origination of Christmas and how the Roman Empire, colonized Christmas with imperialism by overlaying Christmas with the same days as the pagan holidays. Is done the same exact way. All of this is meant for folk not to be um, um, working, thinking with a mind of liberation. And that's not something that's made up. That's what's in the text. I mean, you preach the text. Folks read the text in terms of Jesus' parents running around, running from Herod and running from a government that sought to kill him because folks started talking about somebody's having a baby that's going to be a liberator. But we don't talk about those things, right? So, I think as folks who are in the movement, and this is the reason why, and I remind folks why, as I'm in this King tradition, this is the reason why we are working in this King tradition, because and when I say we, I mean from Dr. King and others who he learned from at Boston University and Crozier Theological Seminary, are really trying to, hone in the crux of what Christianity is all about and what it's been all about from the very beginning. And when we do that, when we march, when we do that, when we demonstrate, when we do that, when we shine a light in dark spaces, we're doing it with moral standing, with a Christian virtue. And as you was talking about, Dr. Karenga and those who organized Kwanzaa, I mean, there are those who would like to suggest that that's for white folks. Well, let's understand something. 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, at that time was considered to be North Africa. Those was black folks too. In fact, the only folks that was white was the folks who was come across the Mediterranean from Rome. Remember, Rome was occupying Africa. So we can't get too far away from our traditions, and we got to keep them alive. And the way I see we do that is we keep the fight alive.
And I think that we have no choice but to keep the fight alive, because I think that it's not like if we stop fighting, they gonna just leave us alone. They are going to take away everything that was gained from the fights that preceded us. When you look at, I keynoted on Thursday night the Conference of National Black Churches, and I told them that when you look at the fact that they have pinpointed going at redistricting to redraw the congressional lines, at the same time that they have Section 2 in front of a Supreme Court that they stacked. This is a long plan. Project 2025 is real. This is a long plan to undo everything the civil rights movement gained in the 60s. Redistricting is to go at the 65 Voting Rights Act. Ending DEI is to go at the 64 Civil Rights Act. The legislative victories that we won are all being reversed with no real fight back that we have put up. Just like Obamacare is about to expire in a week. Where's the fight back? And as we get to the end of the year, when you look at the fact that on Inauguration Day, when Trump was inaugurated, the only ones that had rallies was us activists in National Action Network. We went to Washington, packed Metropolitan AME Church where Frederick Douglass was funeralized. That's right. The only black-led march, mass march, was on Wall Street by then. So all of these people that complain about, Nan getting all the publicity, Sharpton always out there, where are y'all? I've been
Yes,
waiting since January 20th when Trump got inaugurated to see where they are. And it's almost like Trump has intimidated everybody to go into hiding.
Well, and you know, I'll say this: has he intimidated everyone going to hiding? Because the reality is as we get ready to celebrate Christmas and the coming Christ, on 3 or 4 months later, we'll celebrate his death and his burial, but his resurrection. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, he stood up when everybody else sat down, and he spoke up and spoke out when everybody else was silent. And if we're going to say that we are in the tradition, and we saw that happen with Dr. King, as well as many other leaders who have come before us, and if we say that we in that tradition, then you got to be willing to put your life on the line. And when you put your life on the line, that means that sacrifice is a part of the light that shines to turn the keys of injustice.
Absolutely right. And I think that unless we understand that, I think that we will not understand anything. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. More of you on the phones, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, Williams, keeping it real. Be right back.
Democratic presidential candidate, Reverend Al Sharpton.
Thank you. Tonight, I want to address my remarks in two parts. One, I'm honored to address the delegates here. Last Friday, I had the experience in Detroit of hearing President George Bush make a speech. And in the speech, he asked certain questions. I hope he's watching tonight. I would like to answer your questions, Mr. President. To our chairman, our delegates, and all that are assembled, we're honored and glad to be here tonight. I'm glad to be joined by supporters and friends from around the country. I'm glad to be joined by my family, Kathy, Dominique, who will be 18, and Ashley. We are here 282 years after, right here in Boston, we fought to establish the freedoms of America. The first person to die in the Revolutionary War is buried not far from here, a black man from Barbados named Crispus Attucks. 40 years ago, in 1964, Fannie Lou Hamer and the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party stood at the Democratic Convention in Atlantic City fighting to preserve voting rights for all Americans and all Democrats regardless of race or gender. Hamer's stand inspired Dr. King's March in Selma, which brought about the Voting Rights Act of 1965. 20 years ago, Reverend Jesse Jackson stood at the Democratic National Convention in San Francisco, again appealing to preserve those freedoms. Tonight, we stand with those freedoms at risk and our security as citizens in question. I have come here tonight to say the only choice we have to preserve our freedom at this point in history is to elect John Kerry, the President of the United States. I stood with both John Kerry and John Edwards over 30 occasions in debates during the primary season. And I rated them, I watched them, I observed their deeds, I looked into their eyes. I am convinced that they are men who say what they mean and mean what they say. I am also convinced that at a time when a vicious spirit in the body politic of this country that attempts to undermine America's freedoms, our civil rights, our civil liberties, we must leave this city and go forth and organize this nation for victory for our party and John Kerry and John Edwards in November. But let me quickly say, this is not just about winning an election. It's about preserving the principles on which this very nation was founded. Look at the current view of our nation worldwide as a result of our unilateral foreign policy. We went from unprecedented international support and solidarity on September 12, 2001, to hostility and hatred as we stand here tonight. We can't survive in the world by ourselves. How did we squander this opportunity to unite the world for democracy and to commit to the global fight against hunger and disease? We did it with a go-it-alone foreign policy based on flawed intelligence. We were told that we were going to Iraq because there were weapons of mass destruction. We lost hundreds of soldiers. We spent $200 billion at a time we had record state deficits. And when it became clear that there were no weapons, they changed the premise for the war and said, no, we went because of other reasons. If I told you tonight to let's leave the fleet center, we're in danger. And when you get outside, you ask me, Reverend Al, what is the danger? And I say, it don't matter, we just needed some fresh air. I have misled you, and we were misled. We are also faced with the prospect of, in the next 4 years, that 2 or more Supreme Court justices' seats will become available. This year, we celebrated the anniversary of Brown versus the Board of Education. This court has voted 5-4 on critical issues of women's rights and civil rights. It is frightening to think that the gains of civil and women's rights and those movements in the last century could be reversed if this administration is in the White House in these next 4 years. I suggest to you tonight that if George Bush had selected the court in '54, Clarence Thomas would have never got to law school.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. Reverend Charles Williams is our co-host. Don't forget that tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, I am live on Politics Nation on MS Now, formerly MSNBC, and I have everybody from the new elected mayor of Miami, Florida, first Democrat in 30 years to win Miami. She'll be on the show this weekend with me. Congresswoman Ayanna Presley will be on. That I can't think of a better, more effective member of the Congressional Black Caucus than that Congresswoman from Boston. She'll be on with me this weekend. Brother that is running for the governor of South Carolina, picking up a lot of momentum. He'll be on and on and on. This weekend, both nights, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MS Now. And then, of course, you that are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut vicinity, be at the Saturday Action Rally in the morning. I'm going to give my message on Christmas and Kwanzaa, and I need you to be in the house, you that cannot get to there because you are not in New York or Jersey or Connecticut. Watch it live on Impact Television, the only black-owned national television, cable television station geared toward gospel. Reverend Williams, we are also asking everybody that wants to help with our families. We feed seniors and homeless people all day Christmas Day. That's next Thursday, right at the House of Justice, 145th and Lenox. And start at 11 sharp. You that have nobody to eat Christmas dinner with, come eat it with us. You that want to serve an hour and then go home to your Christmas, do that. But let us spend that day. We got toys for kids we're going to give out, toys for children. I know what it is to see children grow up with nothing for Christmas. It's not even the gift that counts, it's the recognition. And you can be part of that on Christmas Day with us, even if you don't spend the whole day. To be a volunteer, all you have to do is call 1-877-626-4651, 1-877-626-4651, or you can go online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and sign online, and I'll see you there Christmas Day at the House of Justice. What's going on, Reverend Dr. Williams, at the Detroit National Action Network Saturday rally?
Well, come on out tomorrow night. Tomorrow morning. We'll be there tomorrow, 10 a.m. The historic King Solomon Baptist Church, 6100 14th Street. And bring your presents, your gifts, your resources. We're taking care of 20 families that are in need. And so I want you to come out and help support us as we do that tomorrow at 10 a.m. with 20 families. We're doing everything from beds to school clothes. We're not doing video games, but we are doing beds and school clothes, books.
That's right.
And all kinds of stuff. And so I want you to join. We found these families from throughout the community of folks who referred us. And we want to make sure that they have the entire Christmas taken care of. And so we've got folks out buying and shopping and going forth. But you want to be there to be supportive. You can do that tomorrow, 10 a.m. at the historic King Solomon Baptist Church for the Michigan National Action Network Saturday Action Rally.
All right, let's go back to the phone. Let's go to Cleveland, Ohio, to the incomparable, what the word is, I'm trying to say where you don't forget fatigue, into fatigued boy. I got to get that word right. I always messed up that word. But she's all of that. The invincible, I can definitely say that. President of our Cleveland chapter of National Action Network, Greater Cleveland chapter, Sister Marcia McCoy. Reverend Dr. Marcia McCoy, how you doing, missionary?
Doing well, sir. And I want to talk as fast as my bishop. I just can't do it as quickly as him. Honorable Reverend Dr. Professor Al Sharpton and our Midwest Region Director, Reverend Dr. Charles Williams II, radio listeners, our president and founder of National Action Network made it clear that we work within the spirit and tradition of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was president and a founding member of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Well, here in Greater Cleveland, Reverend Dr. E.T. Cavaniss is the president. He's the CEO and board chair of SCLC. And we are partnering with their annual Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday of Service on Monday, January 19th. So if you want to be a part of that service, Reverend Dr. Otis Moss is the keynote speaker. We will be giving away resources to youth, family, and those in attendance. So call me at 216-374-0913, 216-374-0913, 216-374-0913 to be a part of this day in service. Come on, we have our board chair on the air, the one and the only exceptionally intelligent, brilliant, well-versed Bishop E.T. Cavaniss. Gift the mule message, Bishop. Come on, Bishop.
Dr. Al Sharpton.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Charles Williams.
Yes, sir.
On my mule, my brother.
I got you, Reverend.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said that no lie can live forever because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Truth, crushed to the earth, will rise again. You shall reap what you sow. Digging ditches for others, dig two, one for them and one for you. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Yet that scaffold sways the future, and behind the dim unknown standeth God within the shadow, keeping watch above his own. President Barack Obama warns that arc does not bend on its own. It needs some help in bending. So Michelle Obama said last night on MS Now, vote, vote, vote. Convicted felon President Donald J. Trump has built his quest for president on lies, falsehoods, and fallacious conspiracies. He began his lies and falsehoods by claiming that President Barack Obama was not born in the United States of America. Since that lying beginning, he has gone on to be one of the most flagrant and blatant liars of all time. Presently, he is credited with telling 30,000 lies in his first 4 years of his presidency and continuing to add since the beginning of this term. This lying, convicted president has become the most corrupted, flagrant, foul-mouthed president that has ever occupied the Oval Office. History records the 5 most corrupt and notorious presidents that have ever occupied the White House. They are, number 1, Andrew Jackson, from 1829 to 1837. Forcible removal of Native American tribes from their ancestral land and Trail of Tears. Slave owner, censored anti-slavery mailing, contributed to the Panic of 1837. Number 2, James Buchanan, 1857 to 1861, a pro-slavery politician who fought for the Dred Scott decision, denying citizenship to black Americans. In action, contributed towards states seceding from the United States before the Civil War. Number 3, Andrew Johnson, 1865 to 1869. Obstruction of Reconstruction, active opposition to civil rights and voting rights, pardoning Confederate and restoring their power, empowering white supremacists, specifically the Ku Klux Klan. Number 4, Richard Nixon, 1969 to 1974. Watergate scandal and cover-up, prolonging the Vietnam War, racist and anti-Semitic language. And 5th, the worst of all, is Donald Trump from 2017 to 2021 and 2025, challenging election integrity, vindictively politicizing and weaponizing the Justice Department, abuse of pardon power, all the January 6th insurrectionists, lies, false claims, divisive, racist, inflammatory language, a toilet foul mouth, emoluments and conflicts of interest, renaming sacred treasured buildings, including the White House, with his felonious Nay, my brothers and my sisters, nothing and notating the multitudinous number of lies and falsehood this Donald Trump has perpetrated on this nation. This lying, racist, bigoted, wannabe dictator, wannabe king. This avowed, obvious white nationalist supremacist is the worst of them all. Dr. King's prognostication on a prophetic now, as they were then, is just a matter of time when this evil man's diabolical kingdom will come to an end and come crashing down upon him and his blind followers. A blessed Christmas, Dr. Sharpton and Dr. Williams.
Blessed Christmas to you, Bishop Cavanagh, and to you, Sister Marcia McCoy. Let me thank Reverend Charles Williams. Let me thank all of you that called in, listened in, you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.